ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
All right, we're getting after it.
Meg's the
Chris,
sister.
you can't look at my notes, Chris. All right, welcome to episode 55 of In Todd We Trust. You can access the podcast at the website. Please go to my website. Just make me feel better for creating it at itwtpodcast.com for spoiler-free one-sentence reviews, episode descriptions, song of the week playlist, movie soundtrack playlist, and a submission form to be a guest on the show. You can listen to this podcast and watch it on Thursday mornings or early afternoon on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and watch on YouTube. We have Kristen and Nathan, aka Krusty and No Breaks, other given names by me, on the podcast today. Two of my greatest friends on the podcast. I was trying to think of like a good story to tell, but welcome. How y'all feeling?
Thanks. And his nickname is Teets.
That's not
Just
true.
saying. He didn't want to mention that, but his nickname is Teets. Teeter Totter. Teeter Tot.
It's been getting crazy.
Twinkle Toes.
It's been getting crazy. Like I feel like it's taking a turn. Like it started as TT, and then it just got worse and worse as the years progressed. And I just kind of gave up fighting it after about a year or so. But no, the one story I thought of that involved both of you, that was appropriate for the podcast, is the first time that me and you drove down to Athens, Ohio, to visit Nathan. And this one I knew it was serious. I knew he was a solid guy. So we went down there, and you're surprising him for his birthday, and you bring me along, and I just put myself in the reverse situation of like, man, if my girlfriend was coming to visit me, surprise me for my birthday, and then she brings this guy with her, I'm gonna be like, yo, what the heck? Like, I'm not down. Nathan was cool. He actually took us both out on a date to go to the movies and paid for my movie and snacks. So that's just like, you know what, this guy's a solid guy, man.
I'm pretty sure we both fell asleep in that movie.
Yeah, me and Nathan both fell asleep. Only Kristen stayed up for the movie.
I didn't want to see the movie.
And Kristen didn't want to see it. Yeah, it was me and Nathan's pick, and Kristen was the only one who stayed up. I fell asleep within the first. I've never fallen asleep in a movie except for this one. It was Interstellar, which you both tell me actually was a pretty solid movie. You all went back and watched it. I never went and rewatched it. I know it was like critically acclaimed when it came out, but first, I don't know, 20 minutes I fell asleep in the movie. But no, that was a fun weekend. But yeah, Nathan let me crash at his place when I came down to visit when his girlfriend was visiting him for his birthday. That was solid. But yeah, that was like one of my most memorable. If I spoke at your wedding, that was going to be what I was going to say. If I just randomly grabbed the mic.
I will.
Yeah. But yes, I actually don't watch movies that I haven't, like, if you're watching a movie for the first time, I actually don't like watching them with Krusty. I don't know if you knew that about you. We watch a ton of movies together, but to watch it for the first time, so Krusty does this thing where she like breaks down the film the whole time while you're watching it, and especially for a mystery, she's gonna try to figure it out the whole time, which I'm sure she probably did in the theater for this one, of like trying to guess what happened in the movie. Did you do that this time?
A little. Well, Nathan did it more, honestly.
I mean, we both actually were just interested in who did it.
Yeah.
Just questioning.
That's the type of
what's gonna
movie though,
happen.
so it's more applicable for this.
Yeah, like what's the twist?
But it was, I don't know, it was a different movie because you know who did it. I feel like
Right.
there's always that, like, at the end you find out, but
Right.
at this one we knew pretty early on. So that's
Yeah.
what was unsettling about it.
Yeah,
Right.
It was odd. It was odd how they twisted it up. I feel like we're kind of doing ourselves a disservice by not reviewing a Disney or a Shrek film.
Well,
But-
when is Shrek 5? I've been waiting to come on the podcast review Shrek 5.
Shrek 5, yeah.
But they have yet to release a date.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Shrek, but
The best franchise.
it is one of the best franchises of movies. We actually we're part of a group on Instagram called Shrek Chat, along with Louie, who was a guest on for the Oscar episode, one of my first episodes. I think it's episode 14, somewhere around there. Anyway, but yeah, if you haven't noticed on social media, a ton of memes are probably, I'd say about 40% of memes have to do with Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last like 2 years, we've just been tracking. We have this chat where we send some other stuff sometimes too, but mostly Shrek related memes. And it's just an overlooked franchise. I was teaching Orange Theory the other day, and I can't tell you how many times multiple songs from that soundtrack. I'm a Believer is always on there.
Also.
All Stars on there, and I Need a Hero.
Oh, that's a great one.
From the second one. Those are always on Orange Theory, like on like workout playlists. Yes. And every single time I say,
Fairy Godmother.
anyone think I always say in there, anyone think of Shrek? Like, does anyone think of Shrek? And like only a few hands will go up, and like no one will laugh. And I'm like, wait a second, like you all have seen Shrek, right? So yeah, definitely a classic.
But we took it a step farther. We started a Facebook
We did
group.
start a
If
Facebook
you're
group.
interested,
We need to keep up with it.
It is the Shrek Sanctuary Midwest chapter.
Yeah.
So if at any point you want to join, we're always looking for more.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're ever, I don't know, someone just came to the window here. They didn't look too happy that we were in the podcast room.
I think it was her bag.
Yeah, it might have been. But it's sitting over there, so we're okay. Anyway, song of the week. Any songs of the week, peeps?
Well, I've been listening to Christmas Tree Farm by Taylor Swift. She released that last week.
Christmas Tree Farm.
It's her new. I didn't know that she grew up on a Christmas tree farm.
That is such a Taylor Swift thing. That is so Taylor Swift, right?
Don't say it negatively.
You're right.
So I've been listening to that. So that's my song of the week.
Christmas Tree Farm. That is so Taylor Swift.
Have you listened to it yet?
I actually like Taylor Swift, so I'm not
okay.
even,
It's good.
It probably is. I love Christmas music, and I actually like Taylor Swift is one of those like I would never admit that I like her, and Taylor Swift the person, I'm kind of just like over her, but at the same time, like she always has hits. Like so you can't like no matter what album comes out, like you're gonna like 1 to 2 songs on the album.
Yeah.
So
Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer's I was on my top 100 songs of the year playlist. Like it's fire. Nathan, what you got?
Is it Dance Monkey or Monkey?
It's Dance Monkey. You know that song?
No, by who?
But who's it by?
But
But Nathan just calls it the Monkey song, so he always asks me to play the Monkey song.
Damn, now I want to hear. I have to hear this song.
Dance Monkey.
What?
It's like Dance Monkey, you know.
No, is it new or is it what is it?
No.
Nah, but they played it on the radio more now recently.
I'm gonna look. Actually, you know what? Let's look it up right
It's
now.
gotta
So
be-
we have computers.
It'd be a good Orange Theory song.
Dance
They
Monkey.
would.
Tones and I, Dance Monkey. Is this looking
That's
right?
it. That's it.
Get your on.
I can't imagine there's too many Dance Monkeys.
You're right, yeah.
Is this one it?
I have to hear the song now. I almost want to like pause the podcast and listen to it. Anyway, my song is I actually made fun of my previous guest for having a Harry Styles song, but my song is by Harry Styles this week. Lights Up by Harry Styles. I do like Harry Styles. I was more making fun of her because she's been to, if you listened to last week, she's been to 4 different Harry Styles concerts, including One Direction, which I felt like was a bit excessive, being that he doesn't have that much content out. I'm like, he's good, but he's not that good. But anyway, very solid song. This recent album is solid. Probably about 3-4 songs that I thought were really good. But yeah, totally worth checking out. Going into random rapid fire, so you both will answer these questions, questions that you have no prep for. And you guys ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Let's do it. If you could murder one person in your family, who would it be? Kristen, you'll answer first, and then no breaks, you'll answer, and then we'll flip each time who answers first for the questions.
Wow. Like immediate?
It can be extended if you want.
It can be extended.
If you have someone in your
You
meeting,
can open it up to extend
you
it.
can open up the killing.
Are you going to answer this?
No, I don't answer these.
No, okay,
Plead
convenient.
the fifth.
I'd have to sacrifice myself. Love my
Oh, weak. If someone murdered you, who would be the prime suspect?
family. Well, don't they say it's always the lover?
Yeah, so Nathan would be yours prime
Probably.
suspect.
No, I don't. Probably a stranger.
Probably a stranger.
It would be.
No
it would
breaks.
be a stranger. He didn't answer the family one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you say you plead the fifth.
Yeah, plead the
Oh,
fifth.
well,
No
we
break.
know who that would. We know who it would be, so you don't have to say it.
No breaks. Who you got? Who would be the prime suspect if someone murdered you?
It would have to be like an
That's good.
assassin. Nathan's not going down easily.
I don't know. Probably some, local hitman.
Local
Up Grand
hitman.
Rapids.
Who would you hire to solve a murder for you?
It's got to be someone who asks a lot of questions. Might be Kristen's mom or aunt, to be honest.
I was just gonna say
Or
Aunt
my
Brenda.
mom.
Aunt Brenda.
Someone
And
who
B
just-
wouldn't rest.
No,
She would not rest.
Or
And
Susie, his mom.
Yeah, can't go down easy.
no, yeah, I was saying not only would they get to the bottom of it, but then like once they find the killer, they're gonna kill him.
They're gonna ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, ruffle some feathers. If your parents left your inheritance to a rando, would you ask them to give it back to you?
I mean, I feel like anyone would. Like, who's not
That's
gonna
horrible.
ask that?
That's horrible.
No, who's not gonna a rando?
Well, when I say rando, and well, I guess Marta wasn't a rando, but
Yeah.
let's say it was like a caretaker that had taken care of your parents for like the last like 10 years, and then they left it all to them.
Man, I think I'd have to do some serious soul searching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
It would,
Hard to
it would-
swallow that one.
It would be. It
It
would
would
be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think Lou would kill him. I think Lou would.
Lou would.
Yeah,
Lou
Lou would kill
would.
him.
Lou
It'd be an
would.
instant plot to
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah. She definitely.
Motive.
Yeah.
Motive.
Who is better at playing Clue between the two of you?
I mean, I ask a lot of questions. I find a lot of answers.
For those of you listening, we are both very
They're very
competitive
competitive,
people. So we'll have to play and get back to you.
Yeah, keep me updated on that one. I don't want to be there for that. You all playing. That could get ugly. Have you ever tried to cover up something that you did wrong and succeeded at covering it up?
Kristen's a bad liar.
Yeah, I can't lie. No, there's only been in my lifetime
She's
2
kind of
times.
projectile vomits. When she
No.
Like Martha.
No, I really haven't done too much that I've had to cover up big time. Nathan, on
No,
the other
Grace, you got
hand,
it. You got to have
I'm a bad
something.
person. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No,
I'm mischievous.
more so than me.
No, Grace, what you got?
Well, if I tell you, then it's
not covered up yet.
Okay.
Fair enough. What's your go-to slushy flavor?
The cherry Coke with a little bit of the blue raspberry.
Got it.
Yeah, I'd probably say cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke with blue raspberry. Huh. That's a weird splash. If you had to rewatch the same movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Shrek. One of the Shrek movies. No, I love Gone with the Wind. That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's your jam.
I like Gladiator or Braveheart. Like
Nice.
classic war movies.
There we go. All right. So now we got that out of the way. Getting into the movie review here. Knives Out. IMDb description for the movie: a detective investigates the death of a patriarch of an eccentric, combative family. Stop looking at my notes, Krusty. Release date: the 27th of November. Notable cast: Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Lakeith Stanfield, Ana de Armas. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but that is Marta in the film. She's also going to be in the new 007 film with Daniel Craig next year. Director and writer for the movie, Rian Johnson, who also is doing a new untitled Star Wars trilogy coming up. So as they've announced in the previews for this Star Wars film coming up, that I'm actually reviewing next week, this is the final chapter of that Star Wars saga. But again, as we probably suspected with Disney, they're already doing The Mandalorian, and Disney just took control of Star Wars a couple years ago, or several years ago now at this point. But that they're going to be doing side stories. So they have an untitled trilogy coming up for Star Wars that this same writer and director is doing. He also did the previous Star Wars, so Star Wars The Last Jedi, the 8th episode. He did that. Was that last year? Was that last year? 2 years ago? Something like that. Anyway, Breaking Bad, he also did a few episodes of that. And then he's also done Looper that came out, I think it was 2012. Looper was iffy, but he did do that one. So, yeah, so he's done some big stuff and has some big stuff in the works. Movie runtime was 2 hours and 10 minutes. So, before going to see the movie, what were your thoughts? What were you expecting? You're looking at my notes heavy, Krusty.
I like that one. It's nice and organized.
Yeah, it is. It's very
I
organized.
like it.
I mean, obviously, I didn't really see the trailer or any
Gotcha.
advertisement on TV, the preview, but I mean, it looked interesting. It had, like you said, a great cast. So I mean, it's hard to. I mean, it would be a big letdown if it wasn't a good movie.
Right.
So I was actually hoping for the best and anticipating it being a good movie going in. So, I mean, it wasn't really It was more interesting than anything. I mean, how it all played out in the end. But
Yeah. Chris, what were you thinking going in?
Kind of the same thing. Mads had said that it was really good, so I had heard from multiple people that it was really good. And then when you told us to go see it, I hadn't really heard much about it, so I was excited. 2 hours and 10 minutes. I thought it was a little long. That was the only thing I would say.
That was the one knock. Okay.
But it was good.
Yeah.
It was great.
oh yeah,
When you exceed 2 hours, sometimes that is kind of like okay, where are we going? Like how, like what are we doing with this movie? So I definitely, when I saw that, I was thinking that too. I went on Sunday evening. So this is
We went.
really.
Yeah.
we went Sunday
Well,
midday.
We both went the
That
same day.
matinee
Same day.
action.
Man, you see, I missed the matinee, so I had to pay $11. So I was not happy. I wasn't happy about that. It just kind of didn't mess up my schedule. Anyway, it was like the 50th movie I've seen in a row now that I didn't like really look up a lot of information prior. Like I saw the preview, obviously knew it was coming out, but didn't really look up a ton of information. Saw that it was a huge cast, so felt like whenever you have like a huge ensemble of like stars, I always feel like it could be great or it could be like a dumpster fire. So I just didn't know. I didn't know what to expect, but was willing to find out. It looked like it was going to be at least like entertaining, which I think it was. I'm not a huge like mystery guy. Like I do like suspense and I do like it being a twist, but I'm not a huge like guess who done it or riddle. I don't like riddles. As a kid, like I never liked riddles or games that were like about riddles or guess. Like that was never my deal. Like I just get over it really quickly. Like, all right, this is stupid. I don't want to do it.
So what you're saying is you don't like thinking.
Maybe that's what. Yeah, maybe that's the underlying thing there is that I just don't like using my brain much. So I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect with this one, but I liked all the actors and actresses in it. So the story. So I thought it got into action pretty quick. Like as far as like, I mean, they started out kind of like. They're questioning. It's kind of funny because like obviously you're seeing how eccentric the family is, and you have Daniel Craig like he playing that piano, which is cracking me up. But just kind of like, all right, where are we going with this? Like we know it's going to be a lot of twists in this because it's a mystery and it's kind of like literally a live version of Clue. So it gets your attention really quickly. I thought the whole movie was going to be about, which I'm sure you all probably did too, like who done it, and not like, oh, we know who did it, but like now what?
Yeah, and I think that was the thing that threw me off with it. Like I said earlier, is that we knew right away who did it, and we had to put all the pieces together and find. I don't know. I guess I kept thinking like, okay, where is this going? We already know.
Well, like the thing that I was always like thinking, like everyone always blamed it on Marta, but I'm like, he still at the end of the day did it to himself. So like, there was really no murderer.
Right.
It was a suicide as it was proclaimed in the beginning.
Right.
I mean, obviously there were people involved, but like she didn't murder him.
Yeah, I guess even if the toxicology report showed that it was the morphine that would have killed him, he still took his life before she went to call the ambulance.
Right.
So
I don't know if she'd have been liable. Well, I'm sure she would have been liable as a nurse, but I mean, in terms of like death,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that part of it. But nonetheless, it was. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was similar to like obviously thought of Clue, but then also and then there were none. The book by Agatha Christie. Did you have to read that in high school?
Yeah, I never read that.
Yeah,
No.
You didn't have to read that?
No.
Man, you're deprived. You're a teacher.
I was
now.
in that AP Lit class.
Get out of here. That AP Lit. I only had 1 year of like the higher level like literature class.
Honors.
Yeah, I had Brit Lit senior year.
Brit Lit.
I was this is crap. I was very it was.
I like Brit Lit.
And
that's why you were an AP.
Yeah,
maybe.
I did. Writing and reading was always my best subject in school growing up, but it just was not the one. Like I just had no interest in I was very lazy with it.
No,
so,
no kidding. All your college days too.
I had good work, but it just was like it was those teachers that are like, hey, I'm gonna try to push you. Like, no, don't push me. Let me just get this.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just get this good grade. Like I wasn't not getting good grades or not doing my work. Like, hey, I'm doing the work. It's good writing. I have an A, or like you get a B plus, and he's like, but you can do so much more, and it's like, no, like just let me get the A minus. Like I don't have to have
do
100%.
more and do better, Todd.
I actually do feel so. Mr. Treehorn was the name of the teacher I had for Brit Lit. I actually do, and I had him junior year as well for whatever that like American literature, whatever you had to take junior year. I actually do feel bad. I was thinking about this actually when I thought about the book. He nominated me for a lot of like national writing things like scholarships. And like I had, it was so
you just
bad.
let him down.
I have so many. I had all these letters. I had all these letters from telling me like the application process and like yada yada. Like we're inviting you to this, and I just did not do any
You're
of
terrible.
them. And I was like,
You're terrible.
I mean, it was senior year. It was the second half of senior year too. And I'm like, and it just was I don't know. I felt
You're
bad.
terrible.
I feel really bad. I felt bad. Yeah, I was checked out. I'm like, I appreciate you, Mr. Turin. Like. I already got college paid for, and that sounds so bratty. That sounds terrible. And again, I feel bad now as an adult, obviously as whatever, 17, 18-year-old. you know, I didn't really appreciate it. But now I'm like, yo, like, I really appreciated him. Like, he got on my nerves at the time.
Yeah.
But, like, I show up late to class. Like, it's just all this stuff that I'm like, just like, dang, like, just spitting in this guy's face.
Punk. I would,
Right?
you would drive me insane in my class.
But I have remorse now. I almost want to go back to him and be like, Mr. Trigger, I appreciate you, like, believing in me.
But you should, because those are the stories that teachers need to hear to keep them sane.
Yeah, like...
Clearly, at the end of the day, I mean, Todd likes watching movies more than reading books. So,
so yeah, maybe it worked out. Maybe he was holding me back from my true potential as a movie critic.
Yeah. I mean, dig
What
deeper into
What if I went to him and, like, it started as, like, an apology and was like, actually, you held me back. Oh, my goodness. But anyway... I was not expecting to bring that up here, but I just thought about it. I was trying to figure out. So obviously you figure out early that it was Marta that killed. Obviously Marta's fine as well. I just want to throw that out there. Marta was very pretty.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Striking eyes. She had really pretty eyes. But anyway, the entire time you're trying to figure out like the angle after you find out that she killed him, because you're like, it can't just be she killed him. They figure it out. She goes to jail. Right. Like, there has to be some way around this, or some way that Daniel Craig, who, you know, you're kind of figuring out, like, does he know? Has he already figured it out? Does he know she's involved? And there's kind of like they're playing like this kind of weird cat and mouse thing where he does like her, but, you know, you're kind of figuring out, you don't know what he knows.
Nathan and I, we were kind of whispering during the movie. We both said, like, he's playing her. Like, he knows she...
He has to, right? Like, he's too
we
he's
thought
too
the
smart.
same thing. Like, he knows he's just trying to rattle her a little bit and, like, you know, have the pieces fall where they may.
Yeah.
Right, and the fact that he knew that she couldn't lie, and he brought in her last to then question her. I mean, I think he knew very, very early.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very unexpected way to twist the story. I didn't see it going that way, and I appreciate that, because I feel like with like whodunits or mystery films or, you know, anything like that, suspense, you have to find new ways to, like, recreate these things. And especially with adding in humor and not making it corny, like, you have to be a pretty good writer to be able to do that, to where it's like still entertaining and it's not just like it's a bunch of stars, it was a waste of money. Like.
Right. It's one of those movies where if we went back and watched it, I wonder how many things we would notice the second time around.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You pick up every clue.
Yeah, I think you'd pick up a lot.
It wasn't like a hidden secrets. It's just you couldn't put the dots together because you didn't know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of like, oh, if I would have paid attention to that scene, it was like, no, they literally did not give us the information.
Right.
So there's no way that you could like if someone went and was like, I knew what it was the whole time, I'd be like, no, you're lying, because they didn't lay out any of this stuff. They had to tell you. Also, like when they're all in there, and who was it who was like, I think like attempted to snitch. Oh, it was when they were doing the will reading. And the little boy who was like on the toilet or whatever, and he was like, Ransom said, you know, I'm gonna get you back or whatever. Like, you know, he heard that through the wall or whatever he said, or you're gonna regret this, whatever the line was. I can't remember at this point. But in my head, I was thinking, if I truly believe that someone murdered somebody else in the family, I'm keeping quiet. You're not murdering me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say it in like confidence. Like, I'm gonna go to the cops. I'm
whispering it.
You didn't hear it from me. I'm whispering. I'm not gonna accuse him in front of everybody, and then go back to sleep in that same house. Like, no. Like, you're not taking me out of the game. So,
especially being he was weird too.
He was like, he can't fend off. So it's not even like, yeah, Ransom, try something. Like, no, if Ransom tries something, you're dead. Like. So that was like, that's Captain America. Like, you're not taking him out.
Well, and part of that too, we knew, at least I figured, like, okay, Chris Evans being such a big actor that he is, he's got to play more of a role. You knew he had to, because you had him missing half the first part of the movie. Right. So you knew he had to play a bigger role. Because they're not just going to have him in there for, like, to walk in and out of the study. Like, how many times did they show that scene?
And he was like the only character in the cast that is like a mischievous, Mr. Cool, slick. Right. I mean, all the other characters, I mean, the one guy. Dude. Yeah, like, they were just, like, bland. Yeah. There was no interesting feat about them. No, I mean, like, the cops, you have, like, Lakeith Stanfield, who was, like, newly starting to get some fame, but, like, obviously he was, like, out of the equation. Mm-hmm. And then you have Daniel Craig, who obviously is, like the main guy, but he's obviously out of the equation as like a killer, and like that accent was cracking me up. Oh yeah, like that southern drawl accent, like like Chris Evans called him out on it, like that was hilarious. But especially when you've seen all these Bond films with him having an English accent. Yeah, right. So as soon as we saw that, I'm like, Kristen, I'm pretty sure he plays Bond. And she was like, no, it's not him. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that is him.
It's weird. He looks different.
So this is gonna sound silly, but the accent made him look different to me. Yeah. Here I was like, it was halfway through. I'm like, I mean, is that really Daniel Craig?
Yeah,
Like, I knew
that's
it
what we
was,
kept
but
saying.
like it was really weird. Did you guess who got the private? Was there any point where you're like, I think I know who not ordered, but paid the private investigator?
No, I mean, there was part of me that thought the old man was still alive at the end, and it was all a game, like a mystery book that he writes.
That's what I had. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because they kept saying like Dad loves his games.
Right. Exactly. And then
so we kept
he
thinking
wrote mystery
maybe
books.
this is all just a test to see like who's actually like loyal in the family, or
Right.
like who like wouldn't take the money, or what, like maybe it was all a test of the inheritance.
Yeah, the wills bring out the ugly in some people. But I did have that down. So my guess, what I wrote down in the movie, was that Harlan actually did do it. But I thought he actually did die. Like, I thought he like set this whole thing up and was like an elaborate way to like go out on like at the top of his game. He's old. He's lived his life. Yeah, and then he like set this whole game up to where it's like, all right, and then he paid the private investigator to see if he figures out if it was Marcia or if he got
that would have been a good plot too.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna maybe like he was gonna see if he could outdo a private investigator by going through this whole thing like with Marcia, and especially how he came up with that plan in like 6 minutes.
Yeah, he did.
So I was like, did he switch the things or like do something with the like? I don't know how he would have done that, but I was like, maybe did he switch the medicine or whatever, and then set Marcia up, but wanted to see if like just playing like he was just a sick old guy who just like wanted to go through a mystery. Like I thought that was gonna be it.
Because he took the note when she said, this will happen in 5 minutes, this will happen in 10 minutes, and he took notes. He's like, oh, let me take notes for my next book, and he writes down how you could basically get away with murder by doing it this way.
Right, and they never followed up on that.
I was just gonna say,
Right,
did they ever say?
Yeah,
he was so calm and collected about it. And that's what
how is that not put to evidence?
He knows
right. Yeah, like that's in a notebook of him detailing out how to like exactly what happened to him. So that they never followed up on that. I mean, again, I don't know if sometimes like I think sometimes movies never like close a loop. Like that felt like it wasn't closed, or maybe movies purposefully like misdirect you. So maybe that was like, all right, we're gonna try to get them to think that like a me, like we're gonna be like, ooh, like I think I figured it out, and then it's like, nope, we threw you for a loop, like you're way off. So I don't know if they did that intentionally, or if it was just a detail that they never really fully saw through. Mm-hmm. Who was your favorite character? Anyone? Did you have a favorite? I feel like she
held her own against the family.
She did, right? Yeah.
They came after her. She
didn't cave.
Yeah.
I mean, and then at the
I don't know.
end,
Harlan's pretty BA too, though. Just being like,
that dude,
screw you, family. You guys are all leeches.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, he did not care.
I mean,
speaking of Harlan, everyone knows that's Todd's dad's
my father's
name.
That's that's my father's name.
Sure is.
It is not a common name, which is crazy. Like I don't know if I've heard that name maybe one other time. I can't think of any specific time.
Yeah.
But it's not a very common, different spelling slightly. But it was crazy.
Do you like the name though?
I do like the name. It's a strong name. It's a strong name.
Would you name your kid Harlan?
Possibly. I thought about it. Let's see. Keep it in the
The
family.
legacy lives on.
The legacy lives on. Yeah. Maybe name Todd. I thought about doing Todd, and then middle name like simply. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So. But yeah, I think so. The thing about Harlan that was so dope is that, how good of a person do you have to be to spend the last 10 minutes of what you feel like is your life creating a plan to save somebody else? Mm-hmm. You're a murderer. Like, you spent the last 10 minutes of your life saving the person who just murdered you.
Well, he knowingly gave her everything.
And gave you he just, like, how good of a person do you have to be to do that? Like, that's crazy. Like,
he knew that if she got convicted, all the will would go back to his own kids.
Right.
So he had to help her.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, he was like, this can't go back to
now. I just put that together. But that makes a lot of sense. Why he came up with the plan then.
Yeah. So that
is that slayer role where if you're convicted of murder,
that's right. Yeah.
All the inheritance went back to the immediate family.
That's true. Yeah. So that does make sense. And he did know that. Yeah. It does kind of all come together. I didn't think about that either.
Protection plan to hold someone come after you.
That is, I wonder how much money he had too. I mean, that mansion was crazy.
They had $60 million.
He said $60 million, then the house, and then the publishing company.
Jesus. Yeah.
That house alone, gosh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's like the Whitney here in town.
That was scary. That's a scary looking house. Like, I mean, for me, like a mansion's like already like they scare me.
And if I was Marta, I'm selling that house because someone killed themselves.
Well, I mean, we've stayed in a house where someone's died before. We stayed in a house.
It's kind of a similar vibe too.
Yeah, it is actually. Imagine if he threw up every single time he lied.
That'd be terrible.
That would be horrible, man.
Well,
Like,
according to Kristen, she doesn't lie. So
yeah, I can see Kristen getting nauseous when she lies. I can see Kristen being like if it was a big lie, I can see Kristen being like Todd, like can't sleep or something like that.
So I do this smile thing when I lie.
Yeah.
And then people go, "You're lying." But now, when I do tell the truth, I smile too. So like, there's so many times where Nathan was
like the joke.
"Oh my gosh, it's all over your face," and I'm like, "I'm telling you the truth." Like the other day, he accused Liz and I of cheating in a card game.
yeah,
I was telling the truth.
because you did.
That's because you did.
Why'd you get my tea for me, huh?
I was also very happy to find out that Marta wasn't sleeping with Harlan.
I know.
There was some allusion to that.
I'm glad they didn't go there.
If they would have went, that would have sucked,
Yeah,
man.
that would have been.
I'm glad they didn't make that relation. I'm glad they didn't make that relationship something that it wasn't.
Right.
It was
Right.
pure, and that's what
Yeah.
I liked about like the whole plot line with Marta. Is like they really focused on her having a pure of heart,
Yeah. Right.
like doing the right thing.
Well, I mean, they gave her the perfect outfit too. She was never dolled up. She was always dressed down.
Yeah, she was very humble.
very innocent.
Yeah, very innocent, very
Very
humble.
innocent.
Like didn't want. Yeah, again, like even. I mean, all the way to the end of the movie when she thought she was going to jail, she didn't save the girl, which obviously
Right.
ended up helping her at the end, but she didn't know that at the time.
Right.
When she
Right.
saved Fran. It was crazy that they didn't invite her to the funeral. And they were
Yeah,
like,
and they
she's
kept
part of the family. We'll take care of it. Like, that just showed how they were so trash.
But what I was confused is like 2 or 3 different people said I
Where
was
she was-
outvoted.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like,
yeah,
So,
so
like
no,
who voted?
yeah,
So they
everyone
all
said-
voted no.
Yeah, they're just a terrible family. You can just
Yeah.
see, like, all right, they're all, like, sucky
And I
people.
can't believe that Meg chick played her like that.
Right? Like, that's so
that
crappy,
Meg chick
right?
was making me. She was annoying me the whole movie.
I did like the detective, too. He was easily my second favorite after Marta.
Mhm.
Definitely liked him. Walt was super creepy. He was one of my least
Walt.
favorite. What they,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Weirdo
So-
Walt.
When he approaches her in the like
in
hallway of her apartment,
Yeah.
and they kept showing his like,
cane, like, so, yeah, I was like,
where's he going?
Is he
gonna
gonna
just
beat
beat
her?
her? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna beat her with the cane.
Well, I mean, he like walked fine during a part of the movie without the cane.
When he got to fight, he dropped the cane down. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, you're about to get wrecked. Like,
Right. And then like the other parts, it's like he's a struggle to walk. I'm like, what?
yeah, I'm sorry, but like, I can't trust a person with a cane. Like, if you can't trust your own
You can't
legs, I
trust a
can't trust you.
person
No, I'm
with a
kidding. I'm
cane.
just joking.
Poor Paul.
If you can't trust your own legs, I can't trust you. No, I'm messing. I don't mean that.
Kinda though.
I don't. No, I don't mean that.
You don't trust people with a cane that are able.
Oh, for sure, I don't trust people with a cane that are able. There's actually a person at my church back home that I grew up with. I'm not gonna say his name. But I've always, like, as a kid, I would bring it up, and like my family just thought it was like hilarious, and that's like the running joke. I'm like, he doesn't need that cane, and I would say it as a kid. I was like, notice that there's like it would be 1 inch off the ground from the cane. Like, he'd take like 5 steps and then put the cane back down. I'm like, bro, you don't need that cane. Like, that's literally like for like swag purposes or like sympathy
It's like
purposes.
what's his face, the player.
Yes, yeah. TJ Duckett.
Duckett.
We're gonna say his name. I mean, he famously has a cane, so it's like, yeah, that's like, what do you, like, when you just say like, you know what, I need a staff. Like, what?
Right.
I want to say, yeah, are you Jafar? Like, what do you need a staff
Moses.
for, bro? Moses? Yeah, like, what do you...
Changed it into a snake.
Right, yeah.
And he actually had an ankle brace.
What?
Waltz did?
Walt, yeah. At the end of the movie, when they pan out and all the family's in the driveway, he legitimately had, like, you sprain your ankle, you get that boot, a walking boot.
He was
He
struggling.
had a walking boot, too.
He shouldn't have got to fight. That's what happened. When he was yelling when he was like trying to... Sorry, this was like a random part of the movie I was cracking up. The grandma who was like almost like deaf or like
Senile.
halfway dead. Yeah, she was just senile. And he was like, "Do you want to eat dinner?" He's like, "Do you want dinner to eat?" And like is yelling at her like while I was dying.
They were like, she's eating half the salmon plate.
Yeah, right here. Like what? Or when she saw like Ransom in the like when she was looking at the
Back
mirror.
so soon, Ransom.
I thought she really had like just didn't know that.
That was a good play. That was a good
Yeah,
play.
no, that was.
That was good. When he saw her in the mirror, like when the detective was like walking around there, he was like,
She looks so
Whoa.
great.
he was like, whoa. He was like, sweet beans. He like, saw her in the mirror. I was dying at that part too.
How about the donut reference?
Yo, that was the donut analogy. I was like, what's happening?
Well, and we had some cacklers in our theater, and they was
Really?
like, ah! And we were like, okay,
They were
it's
a
not.
Yeah, it's not that funny.
that funny.
Yeah, no, I was dying.
I also loved that Harlan was able to get Jamie Lee Curtis. What's her name?
Something I didn't have. That was like one of the only names that I didn't like.
Okay,
Yeah, but
well,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That secret note, like your husband's been cheating on you.
Oh
I
yeah.
love
Yeah, I knew
Mine
that because
too.
they had planned that. Like she had mentioned earlier, my dad and I played this game. We write letters back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
you
when open
knew
that-
she'd find out, but
Yeah.
it was perfect.
And that I noticed this too. I didn't know how like it was gonna come out that she'd see the light. I didn't know it was gonna be heat or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't
Right.
think about that. But when they first showed the letter and it was blank, if you look at it again, like when they turned it over slightly, you can see it like in like almost like a watermark that there's
Oh,
words.
yeah.
You can't, but it was like real quick, and I was like, wait, there's like a watermark of words there. So I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be like they splash water on it or like
Right.
she has a special like you blow on it. I didn't know it was gonna be what it was gonna be.
Written
but-
in milk.
yeah, right.
Oh.
Written in milk.
What?
Is that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What was the significance of the baseball?
Yeah, they didn't.
So
yeah.
there was something to that because multiple characters picked it up
Yeah.
Well,
and set it down.
yeah.
They threw it out in the yard
They
and
threw it
ended
out
up
the
back
window.
up. There was a
Yeah.
significance to
Mr.
baseball.
Blanc
I
picked
don't
it
know.
up and
Yeah.
threw it with the dogs.
But it didn't it end up back in the study because
Yeah,
a couple
because then
characters.
Jamie Lee Curtis
a couple,
picked it up, and like that's when she saw the letter. Right before she saw the letter,
But
she picked
also
it
her
up.
husband picked it up too. Remember, and he
He
looked at
threw
it
it.
and put
He
it.
threw it out the
Oh,
window.
He's the one who
it.
threw
Yeah,
it.
he threw
Yep,
it
he
out
threw it.
Okay.
Whatchamacallit, Daniel Craig threw it. Dogs got it. Came back in the house. Jamie Lee Curtis picked it up when she got the letter.
Right, and Harlan
So-
was playing with it.
Yeah, so
So
I
I
don't
don't know.
what.
There's got to be.
Yeah, I
kept
didn't think about
thinking
that
there has to
either.
be a significance to baseball.
Yeah, I wonder with the.
I almost thought there would be like a hidden
Message.
message on
Again,
the
another
baseball.
thing with like, is that misdirection or was that
Yeah,
just
I
they
don't
didn't
know.
close the loop? Like, which
Right.
one was it? So I don't know. Like, and I feel like if you ask the movie director, they'll be like, oh, even if
They'd give you
even if they
something.
forgot, they'd give you something, right? Because
Yeah.
then you can't say like,
Right.
oh yeah, I don't know, we didn't think about it. Like they
Right.
can't say that. Ransom sucked, and I thought he was cool for a little bit there.
Good
Like
looking
they
guy, though.
they did, yeah. I mean, Captain America's a good looking guy. He
Nanny Diaries.
Nanny Diaries. I haven't seen that.
Nanny Diaries. It's good.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
What's it about?
A nanny in New York City, and they have a nanny cam on her, and they find out like all the stuff that
Oh.
she's been doing.
Oh,
and
interesting.
he's the next door neighbor.
Interesting. But yeah, I like Chris Evans. I don't know what kind of name Ransom is. Like that was like
Hugh Ransom.
Hugh Ransom. That was like a horrible name. I thought that like he was hilarious though. Like I think he was like a necessary, like when he was at that will reading.
Yes.
That was hilarious. That was a great scene.
Right.
And then I thought like they did trick me. I legit thought he was gonna be a good dude. Like when they were in the restaurant, I legit for that moment I was like, yo, like he's actually like I thought he was, when I say a good dude, I thought it was more like he's a bad dude, but he hates his family so much that he loves seeing this because then he was still gonna get something out of it. So I was like,
Right.
oh, that's his angle. Like he's not necessarily a
I
good dude.
knew he was up to no good. There's
Well, after she had told him, well, the blood toxicology report, the only place it's stored is at that medical facility, and she told him that.
I thought he told her that.
Well, yeah, I think he had mentioned it to her, yeah, and then like literally 60 seconds later, they pull up to it and it's burned down. I'm like, okay, there's something fishy there.
Yeah, you knew it was something weird going on, or like another person knew, or like, or yeah, when you knew the blackmailing. So I thought not necessarily he was a good dude. I thought that was going to be the end of his involvement because I was like, oh, he has like obviously a motive to help her because
Right.
he's going to get more inheritance now. Like I have to make sure, yeah, and his the rest of his family he can rub it in their face.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that's his angle. Like, why wouldn't you help her? It made sense. So I thought that was good too, where they didn't just, if they would just went all out, I don't want any money, just like this altruistic view, then that would have looked fishy. Like, all right, bro, like you just went from being selfish for your like 30 years, and now all of a sudden like you've had this like change of heart. So they did. I thought they did a
Right.
good job there, like kind of masking his true intention and like.
Right.
He went
Yeah.
to jail. He snitched on her, and it was like, oh, of course, like he snitched on her, and then but we still didn't really see like why he did it.
How about like that scene could have been really bad, him stabbing Marta, like it
Oh.
was like full on like
Yeah, it was so dramatic.
plunge in her heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Those cops sucked.
Oh,
Like-
they were like, no.
Yeah, and like Lakeith was like, oh shoot, like he was like scared, and I was like, bro, like do you all not have guns? Like what's the
Well,
reaction time?
I even thought
Right.
they weren't very good because, like, when the whole family was harassing Marta, like, why wouldn't they like protect
in.
her? Did you notice
Yeah.
that too? Like,
Yeah.
she was like trying to get in her car. Like, you would think they would have escorted
They were just
her
standing
and
at the
then, like,
stairs
back
drinking like
off
coffee.
people.
Yeah,
they
it was
were.
this like, and also like it's straight up assault because that's her house now.
Right.
So like they're in her house assaulting her, and you all are just like, hey, let's calm down now.
Yeah,
Like,
like these people.
And
are
they didn't
crazy.
give her a ride to get her away from the scene.
yeah, like why? Yeah, like you jump in a car with ransom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but don't you think it's all because it was all? That's how it was supposed to. I keep forgetting his name. Blanc.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Blanc.
He knew. He knew it all.
Yeah.
Right.
And
he
I
let
think
it-
he just let it play
out.
out, and he kept
Yeah.
like letting Marta like go through the hoops.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like he knew the whole time that it would unravel, so he was just letting it.
Yeah, that's kind of smart. Like, I don't know. It would be cool to, like, I mean, always whenever I see detective movies, I'm like, how do you get to the point where you're, like, that good at, like, figuring out crime? Like, you know, like, you watch it, it's like, ooh, like, I'd be, like, there's times where I think, like, ooh, like, I'd be a good detective. And it's like, I don't know if I'd probably be crap. Like, I would probably, like, and I like how many times would it just be easy to go with the obvious, right? So it's like, all right, then make
All
sure
the
your
evidence
job's
points.
done. You got your money. Like, you don't have to keep spending hours on it. You can take other cases. Like, how many people, like, really have, like, an itch for, like, I need to, like, I don't know, like, there's something more here. Like, I need to follow my gut versus, like, let me just go with the easy. Like, this looks good. Let's just pin it on the husband or, like, the spouse. Or, like, let's just pin it, like,
So a show that I've been watching, and it's on CW, so it's a little, like, teeny bopper, but my whole family grew up reading Nancy Drew.
Okay.
Love Nancy Drew, the classic Nancy Drew books. So I've always loved reading mysteries and Trixie Belden, all those books. CW just came out the Nancy Drew show. Okay. And it is a little teeny, I mean, you know, they're like, they just graduated high school and they live in a small town. But it's really good and it has you guessing, like, who did it. And there's multiple murders in the town. Yeah. It's really good.
I will say,
yeah, a little bit of supernatural, but like
I will say, Krusty is single-handedly keeping the CW station alive.
What other shows do I watch, Teets?
Is it Riverdale?
Nathan watches Riverdale. Nathan loves Riverdale.
I got hooked. I gotta finish it. Now I'm in. I gotta finish it.
I was a huge CW guy for a long time. I don't, and also let me not say I don't hate CW. But they just.
That's what it sounds like you're saying.
I don't. They have a limit. Like, it's always like 2 to 3 seasons, and then it just starts getting too out of control.
I agree.
It's always what happens. Like Vampire Diaries, Fire,
Vampire Diaries.
And then it got to like 3-4 seasons, and I was like, all right, enough.
Well,
like,
once Elena left the show, it was nothing. You gotta end.
Oh, I stopped
I can't
before Elena
stand
left.
when the main character leaves the show. Yeah. And they continue.
Don't get me started on How to Get Away with Murder, but with not CW, but I know that we might have him back.
How to Get Away with Murder. Spoiler, people. Wes was in the last episode or the last trailer.
You're saying he was the main character?
No, he loves Wes.
Wes was the guy.
Wes was the worst guy.
Wes was the guy, man.
He was annoying.
Wes was my guy.
Rebecca.
That was. He was in love, guys. Wes was my guy on How to Get Away with Murder. If they bring him back.
Great show, by the way.
It was a great show. Until they got rid of Wes. Now, if we find out that if Wes is still alive, I'll go back and rewatch.
No, there's no way he's alive. They showed him in like the morgue with like.
Shonda Rhimes always finds a way. I'm so over Shonda. Anyway, all right. Let me move on because I can go on How to Get Away with Murder for the next hour about how I was so upset. I remember the night he died. I remember like he was an actual person. Like, I was in Vegas and I was still living in Vegas, and I remember like me and my roommate chilling out, like eating dinner, and I was like, bro, like, I'm going to my room. I had to go to sleep early. Like, I was so mad. I was hurt.
So invested in
I was mourning, man. Like, I was hurt.
Me.
That was the guy. Like, how do you let him die? Whatever.
Nobody liked him. That's how you let people die. Nobody liked him.
Everyone liked him, guys. Everyone liked him. But he did grow on me. Like, it was points where I'd be like, all right, Wes, bro, like, you gotta let Rebecca go. Like, but then it was time where I'm like, yo.
He was the reason that all the murders had to be covered up. Like, he just kept messing up.
Right.
And kept putting people in.
The first one, he saved everyone by killing dude. Dude was suck.
He didn't kill him.
Who killed him again?
I think Kayla did. Michaela.
The husband?
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
I think they all kind of did. They all pushed him down the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And then hit him. No, maybe he hit him in the head.
Yeah, I thought he hit him with the whatever. Anyway,
it's coming to an end, the show. So
good. It's about time. The same thing with Scandal. But anyway, I thought it was a lot of funny parts in this movie. Like I said, Flam is like the nastiest name for a skincare company. That was the girl's. That was her. Yeah, the girl who was like Joni, the hippie. Her company's name was Flam. Yeah, I was like, it sounds too close to Flam.
She was such a weird character.
She sucks. She's just she's a weird actress. Everything she's in, she's weird. She's in what is that show that she's in? Is it on Netflix where she's like, is it her and her husband are going through divorce? She's like hooking up with randos. Like, it's a weird show. And then she's also in Hereditary that came out last year. It's a horror movie, and she's like her mom was in this cult and her whole family's like possessed. It's really weird. She's just and she's weird looking too. Like, I don't know if she's like diss her. Like, I feel like I'm just ripping her apart.
She has an odd look.
Yeah, she's a different look for sure. The way they talked about Marta, like they were just like, it was so racist there at like one part when they were just like everyone just described it. They said she was from a different country.
Yes.
Like no one had the right country.
Paraguay,
So it was
Uruguay,
yeah, Brazil. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's names and stuff out. Like she's just from some other country, and they're like she's a hard worker though. And it's like, yo, this is so typical. Like oh, she's an immigrant, so she's just from somewhere, and she's a hard worker.
And they
like,
brought the political discussion.
yeah,
to it.
yeah, they brought it. Yeah. So that was like, what do you think? And this is such a that's just such a like classic thing where it's like, we're gonna use your opinions like for your entire race or like demographic. Like you're gonna be the spokesperson right now. It's like, all right, like no matter what my opinion is, I can't speak for every single like black person or every single male or every single like whatever demographic,
Right.
every single 20-something-year-old. Like I can't speak for everyone. This is my personal opinion. And then when they did accuse her of hooking up the grandma, like they're like, were you boinking my grandmother? Like, when the grandson, the little weird one, started talking and he called her anchor baby, which I had to look at what that meant. Like, have you ever heard that term?
No.
So it's the name of someone whose mother is a non-citizen. And
That's terrible.
when she was getting in the car, he was like, "You anchor baby," and I was.
Oh my god.
I was like, what? And someone yelled out. It was but they were all screaming. It was a couple different like quotes like I heard. Then I started laughing, and he was someone was like, "Unfollow me on IG." Like, so I was dying.
Yeah, that little kid was a punk.
Yeah, he sucked, man. Like he was so quiet, and then all of a sudden, like he just started sucking out of nowhere. Like every line he had was annoying.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone hosed him.
Yeah.
I mean, and that one family gathering, I mean, they were just ripping him.
Yeah,
apart.
yeah.
Like, you Nazi lover? Like,
Yeah,
it was
Yeah,
like, whoa.
saying what he was doing in the bathroom.
Oh,
watching,
yeah.
watching horse video or something.
Yeah.
Deer.
Deer, yeah, deer.
It was like,
Oh my God.
jeez.
Gosh, he's getting shredded.
Oh my god, there's always one. There's one in every family.
Oh, yeah.
There's one.
We know.
Oh my god. The donut analogy at the end though was great. The ending was great. I thought, like again, wrapping it all up. I thought they wrapped it up really well. I forgot all about Fran, the housekeeper, until like they showed. I was like, oh shoot, where has she been? Like, I totally forgot about her. She's also in this show called The Righteous Gemstones on HBO, which I've watched, and that was one of my favorite shows this year. It's just like really, it's just a crazy show. And she's like the craziest character in the show, so that's why I kept thinking about it as I watched her.
I knew though when Marta took the phone call that she died.
Oh yeah, that she played it.
You knew.
Yeah, that she was gonna play it and they were gonna like record. So yeah, she played that off really well. And I definitely didn't guess it. So that's the good thing about like I guess like I can honestly say that at no point in the movie before them revealing it that I guessed the whole thing. There's no way you could have. It wasn't meant for you. It wasn't meant for you to guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought
The
that was
only
a good
thing now is when she said Hugh did this
Yeah.
instead of you.
Oh yeah.
Cute, right?
If you really like,
Did you all catch that when she said that?
no.
Oh, God. Oh, you're talking about
No,
like
if you
Yeah.
really like,
Because she
Listen,
had mentioned, like, there was a specific comment where she said, "Only the help call you Hugh because you make them."
right.
And then when she was on the floor, she was the only help they technically had.
Right.
She was like, "Hugh did this," but everyone obviously think you did this.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So they did a
good.
good job with that.
mhm.
Final thoughts. I did think the movie was really entertaining. It was like a good mix of it being like interesting and like suspense, also with the funny. Like again, it's so hard to put like comedy in a movie that's not a comedy movie, or even just make a comedy film in general because you don't want to make it corny.
Yeah.
And there's so many great like comedians, even like Kevin Hart, for instance. Like as funny as I think Kevin Hart is, he has a ton of movies that are really corny and are not funny at all. He has some good ones, but it's hard to make a comedic film. I would definitely recommend to go see. The star-studded cast didn't let down. I definitely didn't look at anyone who was like, man, that was a waste to have them in there. Like they all did a really good job,
Yeah.
I thought.
Right.
And I commend them for like again making this type of movie where it's again a mystery that's not cheesy and it wasn't predictable. You know,
Right.
it wasn't like it wasn't in the first 5 minutes you know what's gonna happen because
Right.
there's some films where it's like I went and saw it wasn't a mystery necessarily, but it was like a cop drama. 21 Bridges I saw a couple weeks ago. And there were some twists that you couldn't necessarily predict, but you know there's going to be, if there's a cop movie, a detective movie, you know there's going to be a crooked cop.
Right.
Like,
always.
And sure enough, there's a crooked cop. Like, I mean, I don't even have to, like, that's not really ruining it. Like, you always know there's going to be a crooked cop. So there's some predictability there. What would you rank this on a scale of 1 to 10?
Probably like a 8-ish.
Yeah, I'd probably say
7 or 8.
7 or 8. I mean, it was definitely worth seeing. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of movies here lately, but that's one of them.
I think I'll just stick with it. It was really, really good. It was I thought it was long. think that was my only thing. I was like, at some point, I like looked and I was like, oh my gosh, we still have a half hour in this.
Really?
But I think part of that is because it wasn't a traditional like murder.
Oh, because you knew who. Yeah.
Because you knew, so you kept thinking like, okay, when is this gonna wrap up? Like, how is like.
Yeah, and the murder wasn't malicious too. That was the two things that made it different. You did.
There really was
you
no
knew
motive.
It was, and there was no motive. It was really an accident. So would you get?
Well, kind of.
Well, yeah.
I mean, there wasn't like.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah,
There was a murder, but there wasn't because obviously Ransom tried
Right.
to.
But did you all rank it? Did you ever say a number? Or no?
7 or 8.
7 or 8. Yeah. I gave it a 7.9. So right there.
Ooh.
Right there. 7.9.
It's definitely an adult film, though. Like, even if you're high school, I still think it would be a bit much.
Yeah.
For a high school student. But.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. There are definitely, it's funny you say that. There's definitely movies that I want to go back and that I haven't rewatched the time. Yeah. In high school, I watched a good amount of movies. Obviously, I watch a good amount of movies now. In high school, I watched movies all the time. Like, I didn't go to parties really or anything. Like, I seriously, like, I could watch, even in college, like, I could watch. Krusty's putting up a loser sign right now for those of you that aren't watching on YouTube. There were times where I could watch 6 movies in a row. Like, there's days I can think of where I easily sat and just watched. I can't do that anymore. Like, I can't sit and watch it, not without going. I mean, again, social media is bigger now, so like I can't do that without like boom, getting on my phone, like, being on Instagram for like 30 minutes or something like that, pausing the movie, getting up, getting a snack. I gave it 7.9. Would you suggest someone go see this opening night, $5 Tuesday, Netflix, or don't watch it all?
$5 Tuesday.
Yeah, $5 Tuesday, or it depends on what your
genre. I mean, it really,
like my mom loves this kind of stuff. Like I would suggest she needs to go see it like right away. Yeah. So it just depends on. Some people are into it.
It's not going to excite you. So, like, if you're looking for excitement on the weekend, it's probably not going to excite you. Yeah. But, like, to get you through the week, this is definitely going to get you through the week. I thought
it was good. I said opening night just because most of the time when I say opening night, it's a movie that I think could get ruined if you don't go see it. It's like Avengers, I said. Where it's like, because most movies, I'm like, I don't go see any movies opening night, really. So, for me, it's not even about, like, it being so great. It's more of just, like, you'd hate for someone to be like, oh, let me tell you about this movie. Right. So that's like, because then that ruins the whole thing. Like, if someone tells you the end, then like you can't really enjoy it as much. So that's the only reason I say opening night. Right. Otherwise, but it's not. I feel like I haven't heard much about this movie, to be honest with you. Yeah. So you might be safe. Honestly, it's been out for a couple weeks. You might be safe going to $5 Tuesday. Right. So, upcoming movies you're looking forward to?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. I'm excited for Star Wars. I didn't like the last 2, to be honest with you, but I mean, it's the final one. I'm a huge Star Wars fan in general. It's obviously a huge movie, and just I want to see what happens. How is it? Any ending movie, it's like, well, how are you about to wrap this whole thing up? Right.
Something you follow since your childhood.
Yeah, I mean, right? And it's gonna be like, it's gonna be. If it's bad, you're at least gonna get good action. Like the lightsaber and the Force act, like that is always so cool. Like, I don't care how old you are, like that's cool. Right. I'm looking forward to Cats, not because it looks good. It looks really weird. But I'm excited to rip it. Honestly, I'm gonna review it, and I'm excited just to laugh about it. Like, it looks super creepy.
Have you seen the play?
That's what I said.
I've not seen the play.
It's a Broadway play. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
The music is phenomenal.
Well, the play, I know the play is famous. I haven't seen it, but and I know you love Broadway. I love plays too. I just don't go a lot. But what's the last one we all went and saw?
The play?
Yeah. What about Anastasia? That's what
we went and saw Anastasia.
That's right. But Cats. But that movie looks creepy.
It does. It does. Taylor Swift's in it. Your girl.
Taylor Swift is in it, so I'm excited to see how they just.
There's some casting members in that too.
Yeah,
Rebel
it is.
Wilson, they threw her in there.
A lot of.
One Cash Cat, or the singer Cat guy.
James Corden.
He's in it.
I was on the show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when I was out in LA that time.
Speaking of shows, watch Nathan and I beat Shazam.
Oh yeah. So maybe this will help. Yeah. So I don't know if they have a voting system or anything, but be on the lookout for No Breaks and Krusty to be on. That should be your. I don't know if you have aliases on the show or what, but that should be your nicknames. But they sent an audition tape in for what is it? Beat Shazam.
Beat Shazam.
What channel does it come on?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It's hosted by Jamie Foxx, though. You can check it out. It's on Hulu, right?
Fox?
If you want to watch.
Is it on Fox?
Maybe Fox. You can look it up. You can Google it. But anyway, they sent the audition tape in, and they reached back out to him. So fingers crossed they end up on next season. I'll be out there.
Chance
for the
to win $1
taping.
million.
Chance to win $1 million. If they win $1 million, it's going down. It's going down.
It's going down.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going down, but it's going down. Something's going down. Something's happening.
Something's going down.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
A bar's going up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Do you want to tell the listeners about the land shark fall through?
Oh man, yeah.
If you're from East Lansing or went to Michigan State,
you'll feel this. So, the Land Shark, which is a quote unquote iconic bar, as they say. Iconic is a bit much, but it's definitely for East Lansing it is. For East Lansing it is an iconic bar. It's been there for several years, and it's going on sale.
Well,
we
you
thought it
gotta
was.
start with the fact that we've always talked about.
Yeah, so me and Krusty have for years talked about owning our own bar. Obviously, the conversations started in college when we were going to college bars. But just our desire to, one, enhance the experience because we saw so much opportunity, and also loving our school and loving creating playlists. So it really came from our love of wanting to DJ, and that just turned into, you know what, why stop at DJing? Let's just own a freaking bar.
Right.
So anyway, we recently saw that the Land Shark was going on sale. So
And we were pumped.
When I say we were pumped, we were all in. Like, I mean, I talked
reasonable price.
We were all in. We were dead serious.
We were dead serious. I talked to some potential investors, aka my parents, and we were chatting, and it was like, let's go for it. So
got Nathan involved. Nathan is a realtor, for those of you that do not know.
Nathan's a realtor and also a carpenter. He actually chose his last name at birth. He picked up a hammer, and they're like, this boy's a carpenter.
How they did in the olden days.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you choose your surname. Yeah. So he's good with his hands. So we were like, you know what, this is perfect timing. Like it's just the right move. So we looked into it, and unfortunately, not to get into all the details, but come to find out, it actually wasn't the price that we saw. And they weren't, it
wasn't as advertised.
It wasn't as advertised. It's the best way to put it.
We asked the questions, and
we didn't get the answer we wanted. So, but it's all good. We will a bar will come.
And we went back and forth on the name.
Yeah.
We wanted to be combined, so the Krusty Teat.
Yeah, the Krusty Teat. That's what we're leaning towards right now. The Krusty Teat.
KT's though.
If there's anything that's all, for KT's. We'll shorten it. If there's anything off about that name, let us know. Right now it sounds good, rolling off the tongue, but if there's anything that, definitely want your feedback if you think something better would be more marketable. But yeah, it's coming soon. Just wait on it. But we don't know.
If you have any leads on any bars, just let us know.
Yeah, leads on bars being sold.
Bar rescue.
Yeah, bar rescue. Yes. So
we feel very confident in our ideas.
Oh, it's
Some
gonna
say
happen.
that it's harder than you'd think.
Yeah.
We don't break even for a couple years.
Yeah, that's what they say, but we'll be the ones to change that around.
Yes.
Yeah, we know nothing about the industry, but we know a lot about playlists. So yes.
And themed nights.
And themed nights. Yeah, we have themed nights and playlists down pat. So we know the business and the alcohol and the revenue will just take care of itself after you get the music going and people going. So
how to host a good party.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we start. Maybe we just host a few parties first. Like, we didn't even really host, we had parties, but not or you had parties but I don't know if we'll get it going. You'll have a house now.
Happen.
Oh, it will happen.
It will happen.
It will happen, and we will let you know.
It's just a matter of,
when
Detroit, Grand Rapids, East Lansing,
New York.
Athens, New York.
London. Yeah, so who knows?
Tokyo.
Amsterdam.
Franchise.
A franchise? Oh my god.
KT's around the world, baby.
Oh my god. It'll be a household name. But anyway, thank you all for coming up here. Do you have anything else?
Anything else to add, Nathan?
No. Appreciate you having us on here.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks for traveling over to Detroit. Until next week, everyone, thanks for listening. Peace.